The 5 lies in dog training. So the next one here is science-based dog training. You hear this from force-free or positive-only trainers. And they use this as a catch line to make you think, oh my God, they're the most modern type of dog training out there. We're all science-based. Hello? We use classical conditioning, we use operant conditioning, as do they, except what they use is one of the 4 quadrants within operant conditioning. Okay, so you have 4 quadrants. You have positive reinforcement, which they use. You have positive punishment, which we use, some form of a correction. You have negative reinforcement, which they don't use. And you have negative punishment, which we use as well. Okay, so we use 4, they use 1. So they say, hey, we're the most modern, we are science-based dog training. No, we are all science-based dog training. But then what do they do next? They go, okay, well, we're the most modern because we have these studies and these studies that show otherwise. Except the problem is they cherry pick the data in these studies, or they pick studies that from the beginning, from the outset, were designed to prove their point. That force-free or positive-only dog training is superior and more humane to the dog. Problem is, they don't use the study appropriately. The majority of those studies use surveys. So they survey the owner and what the owner viewed or felt during that training. Now, surveys have their place, but realistically, it's not a very good gauge of whether or not that training style was more effective or not. But then what they also do is they take substandard, subpar, balanced trainers like myself, and they put them into the study. So for example, they want to test whether or not an e-collar is going to harm the dog. So what do? They slap an e-collar on this dog. They never condition the dog to the e-collar, and they blast the dog with the e-collar. Then they check the blood work and say, oh, the cortisol levels are a lot higher than this dog, so therefore he's going through a lot more stress. But that's not how we do it. We don't treat dogs that way. We condition the dog to the e-collar. We get the dog used to the e-collar so the dog understands what that pressure means, long before we ever use an e-collar for any type of corrective measures. And then when a study comes out that contradicts their point, like this study here, then they actually, and the only time they use a critical lens in looking at a study, and they try to pick apart this study. Now, the thing with this study is they actually used experienced positive training trainers and experienced balanced training trainers, and they actually did a very good job of testing both and comparing the results to both. And what they found was, when it comes to prey drive, that the force-free approach or positive-only approach was ineffective in stopping prey drive, but that the e-collar work, when done properly, was very effective.